Hello everyone, my name is Marion. Video games! I don't really play them much anymore. Here's the thing, as a kid, of course I play video games just like any other kid. I used to own tons of consoles, and in fact I even own the modern consoles to this very day. And yet I don't really play them much anymore. The reason why I don't really play video games much anymore is because of the fact that I just feel like I'm wasting time. Like, here's the thing, as a kid, what else were you gonna do besides like playing Minecraft for 7+ hours straight, Mario Kart, Batman, Call of Duty, even though you only played it because you wanted to seem cool to everybody else, and everybody else was playing it because they wanted to seem cool to everybody else, and in the end, was anybody really having much fun? I wasn't. Maybe everyone else was, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who wasn't having fun playing Call of Duty the entire time. As a kid, the only responsibilities that I had, at least in my household, was doing the dishes, doing your homework, and keeping your room clean. But as an adult, I have a lot more responsibilities now, and unfortunately, I'm trying to do this thing called pursuing the path of content creation, which is a really bad idea, and so that feeling of wasting time when playing video games is only just so much worse. Because now I'm thinking, I could be writing a script, I could be filming a video, I could be doing all sorts of things, but instead I'm spending my time here trying to figure out how to make an automatic farm in Minecraft. Watching YouTube and listening to music is different because I can do other things while doing those very same things. But with video games, all 5 of your senses must be honed in on this piece of media. Okay, maybe not taste and smell, but like, we've all thought about what the water in Mario Odyssey tastes like, let's be honest here. I've thought about drinking it before. The only time that I don't feel like I'm wasting time when playing video games is when I'm playing with my friends on said video games, because when I'm with my friends, I don't feel like I'm wasting time at all. With this all being said, I still hold tons of nostalgia for a lot of the video games that I played as a kid, and in fact if a game gets enough attention from me, I will play it. I 100%ed Spider-Man 2 in the span of 5 days, so I'm not completely distanced away from the market just yet. Those memories of me playing with my friends on a Friday night, all the while eating pizza and doing the stupidest shit we possibly can in a game, I will always hold in very high regard and will always look back on fondly. And another thing that I also look back on fondly is the arcade. The arcade, the place of which you can play tons of video games spanning all across many different generations at the price of a token. Except nowadays it's about the swipe card, but like, whatever. It's ironic that I started off talking about home media consoles first, because not only did arcades exist way before those, spanning all the way back to the 1930s, but also historically, I most likely experienced playing a video game for the very first time at the arcade. Do I remember it? No, but I do have photographic evidence, so Anyways, whenever the arcade comes up in conversation, if anyone ever asks me what my favorite arcade game is, I usually always answer Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The soundtrack, the gameplay, the character designs, I love it all so much. But there's another reason why I also hold this game in very high regard, and it ties into the main point of this video. How Marvel vs. Capcom 2 got me attention from a girl. Kind of. So this happened around the time when I was around like 9 to 11 years old or so. So around this time, my oldest brother, who's significantly older than both me and my older brother, so much so that in my earliest childhood memories, he had already moved out of the house, would come and pick us up and take us to the movies because, well, he was old enough to drive a car, and also old enough to have a job, and also old enough to be on his own. He's really old. I hope he's not watching this, because then I'll feel bad. No, I won't. But anyways, like I said, he would pick us up and take us to the movies. In fact, most of the time when I went to go see a movie, it was always with him. Usually after watching the movie, he would take us back home, drop us off, and then go on his merry way. And that would be that. But I guess this one specific time, he was feeling a little funny that day, and he decided to take us to an arcade. He handed us tokens, and I cannot for the life of me remember any of the other games that I played that day, so let's just get to the end. Anyway, so after spending most of my tokens, I ended up finding this weird cabinet, and it said, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now, since I was so young, I was like, what's a Capcom? But as soon as I saw Marvel, I immediately honed in on it. At the time, I was really obsessed with Marvel. And kind of still am. I'm just obsessed with comic books in general. I'm a fucking loser if you didn't know this already about me. I think around this time, the first Iron Man movie and Spider-Man 3 had only came out not too long ago, so I was very hyped up to find out that those two characters were in this weird cabinet that I just found. I remember getting to the character select screen and hearing that iconic theme music. Wanna take you for a ride, I wanna take you for a ride, and already at that age, I was rather weirded out to hear jazz and Marvel together. And it's ironic actually, because that was the same reaction that a lot of gamers at the time had to that soundtrack, if you will. A lot of them were really confused by the jazz and in fact even hated it. So much so that apparently there are versions that exist that have like the music all taken out and replaced with other music. Fucking wimps. That soundtrack is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. I love the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 soundtrack. I love it so much. It's great. Anyway, so I picked Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Wolverine. Don't ask which one, because for the life of me, I cannot remember. If I can't remember the games that I played before this, obviously I'm not going to remember if I played as Bone Wolverine or Adamantium Wolverine. Why did I forget Adamantium for a second? Jesus Christ, I am not a real comic book nerd, am I? I just lost my license. Once I got into the game, I did what every other kid does when they play a fighting game at the arcade. I mashed every single button one gigantic metric fuck ton times, and it actually surprisingly worked because I kept winning. Now, my child brain, it felt like I was there for an hour, but like, looking back on it, I was probably there for only like 20 minutes, but I was there long enough to the point of where both my older brother and my oldest brother had finished up playing their games, and at this point were just watching me, just continuing to climb the leaderboard, just by mashing the buttons. I should have not thrown the controller away. I should have kept it on me so I could have done that funny little bit again. Oh well. And then, that's when it happens. A random girl comes up to the machine on the player 2 side, and leans on it and says, wow. Okay, she didn't say it like that, but she did say wow, or whoa. She said one of those things, and she sat there and she watched, giggling to herself every once in a while, and even sometimes pressing the buttons for some reason. I don't know. She was there for like a solid 10 minutes or so, and I had no idea what to do. And here's the thing, this is kid me. So when a random girl comes up to me while I'm playing a game, and she stands there observing, occasionally giggling to herself and things like that, I was a little annoyed. Kid me didn't give a fuck about love, even though he had crushes on girls at school before, and also some boys, even though he didn't really realize it because he thought that weird feeling that he would get around them was just him really thinking that he just really wanted to be their friend. Fucking idiot. And also he may or may not have thought that girl next to him was actually kind of pretty, but that's not important. I was both annoyed at the fact that there was this girl distracting me from playing the game, but also because I knew I would never hear the end of it from my oldest brother. In fact, I could even hear him chuckling behind me as this was happening. Here I was climbing the leaderboards, and here she was next to me, and I was just trying to my best to not acknowledge her, but also at the same time I would occasionally like... Whenever I think of this story, I always like to imagine what it would have been like if I was like 15 or 16 years old. Because while kid me was kind of annoyed, felt a little awkward, and just wanted her to go away, teenage me would have been sweating bullets and would have just been shaking and being like, oh god, there's a girl next to me, oh god, what do I do? Do I acknowledge her? Oh god, Oh god, I can even imagine it too. It's so vivid. What a loser. By the way, for anybody who might be wondering if this were to happen to me today, I wouldn't care. Anyway, so I'm still mashing buttons at this point, and she's still there, and at that point, I hear a phone camera go off behind me, and I think, oh great, my oldest brother just took a photo, and I'm not gonna be able to hear the end of this for like a year. After what felt like an eternity, she eventually left, and eventually, I just let go of the controls and said, I'm done, and that was that. I think I actually ended up getting the highest on the leaderboard at that place, and I didn't even put my initials in, so it was just so if there's any Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machines out there in like California, and the high score is held by someone named that might be me? I don't know. After we left the place, my oldest brother was just making fun of me, being like, so, you got a girlfriend? And I was super salty about it, being like, no, I don't. And my older brother was laughing along, and I just felt so embarrassed. I believe he even actually told my parents about it, to which they also started laughing about it. And the entire time I was just like, meh. Well, young me was salty in the past, adult me in the present looks back on this memory very, very fondly. It's funny to see how you used to process things as a kid, and how I was just so upset about this girl being interested in something I was playing. It's just kind of funny to me. This memory, along with the game itself, cemented Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to be forever my favorite arcade game. Doesn't mean I'm actually good at it, so don't ask. Thank you to everyone for watching this video. It's been a long time since I've made like a live action video like this. Mostly because of the fact that my camera quality like over a year ago was absolute shit. But as you can see, it's gotten a lot better because I'm actually using a really good camera. This camera itself was actually supposed to be used for primarily photography, but I decided to film something today because I really wanted to tell this story, if you will. I have no idea when this is going to be uploaded, but I'm hoping that I'm going to upload it this Friday. And if so, for those who are into me and Lynn's Reddit stories, if you will, there will be a new Reddit stories this coming Tuesday, so stay tuned for that, if you will. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And maybe I'll see you again sometime soon. And remember, stay safe and sane. Bye.